I mean, you have to do so much research on your opponent, right? And it can get dirty.
Yes, it can.
How dirty can you get?
What's up, y'all? You're tapped into the Crucial Combo podcast. We got to talk about Remy Ma and Papoose. It's all over the algorithm right now, so we got to go over it. Now, this relationship is kind of sad that it's ending the way it is, but you know what? I'm not extremely surprised. Now, let me tell you why. Now, I don't know Remy Ma personally, but I do know a few people who do know her, right? But I guess that's neither here nor there. Now, Papoose and Remy Ma met back in 2004 at K Slay's studio. Rest in peace, K Slay. Now, they got together romantically just a little bit after that, and they were together a couple of years when Remy Ma caught a case in 2007 for shooting one of her best friends or one of her friends for stealing some money. Remy Ma went to jail from 2007 to 2014, and I'm gonna go through this video, and we're gonna play a lot of what Papoose had to say and a lot of what Remy Ma had to say. Now, look, as someone who's been married almost 10 years, I understand marriage is not perfect. It's not easy. Now, the way you stop things from getting messy, in my opinion, is that you probably want to get the divorce before you start the new relationship. But we all know that's not how it happens most of the time. Now, if you're not aware, I'm sure you are aware if you're paying any attention. Remy Ma's been seeing this guy named Easy the Block Captain for about 2 years. Papoose has been aware of the affair at least the last 2 years, right? But he hasn't said anything. So recently, Papoose has been on. He had a lot to say and finally responded to Remy Ma. And of course, Remy Ma had things to say back. Now, Papoose has moved on. He met Clarissa Shields, the boxer. I believe he met her last year. They seem to be having a good relationship. And it seems like he is moving on, which in my opinion is causing Remy Ma to crash out a little bit. But we're going to watch this. Let me go through this. We're going to go through the video. Now, let me let this play.
They know you y'all know us very well. And the reason why I'm saying that is because don't allow none of these celebrities to fool you. When you hear a rumor that comes out, it's true. We are human, just like y'all, the audience, the supporters, the fans. So now you have a person here who life has been documented for decades through the fans watching us, seeing when she got incarcerated. Watch me visit her every day for a year straight. Watch me bring her 35 pounds of food a month. Watch me hold her down. Watch me in the courtroom getting into altercations with court officers over her.
Let me stop that for a second. Now, everybody knows, and this is the reason why I hate to say it, I'm not totally surprised. So everybody knows when Remy Ma was in jail, Papoose held her down. He was going to the jail, like he said, every day, eventually a couple times a week, and just really supported her through that whole 7-year bid. A lot of guys would not do that. Now, just for context, what's going on now, again, we ain't in their marriage, but again, they're both putting their information out there, and it's up to the internet to believe who they want to believe. Somebody's lying, somebody's telling the truth. Maybe they're both lying, maybe they're both telling the truth, but somebody's doing more of one or the other. So that's what this is all about to talk about on the internet. But here's the thing, the narrative now that Remy Ma has been putting out here now, because everybody want to know, like, yo, here's this guy Papoose has held her down all these years. Everybody want to know, like, well, what exactly did this guy do? Because, you know, we all know when a man cheats, if a man cheats, it's because he's a scumbag and he wanted some other skins. You know what I'm saying? He wanted another woman, right? When a woman cheats, typically it's like, well, what did that man do wrong? What did he do? Because he must have did something to push her to do that. That's how most people look at it. When a woman cheats, the man did something wrong, right? Or he didn't do something right, whatever it is, right? So this is what typically happens. Now, everybody's trying to figure out, like, yo, well, what did this guy do wrong? Because he was holding her down all that time when she was in jail. When she got released in 2014, he was helping her career and supporting her like a husband should. And as we go on in this video, he's going to talk about how he wrote a lot of the songs. So did he write All the Way Up and some of the other big songs? We don't know, but it's not inconceivable. Papoose has a nice pen. He's a great rapper, so I wouldn't be surprised. Now, again, what did this guy do, right? So we know Papoose for holding Remy Ma down and being an extremely loyal husband. Doesn't mean he's a perfect guy, no, but it doesn't appear that there's any evidence of him cheating on her. So the question is, Remy Ma seems to have cheated first, has stepped out in the relationship first, and the question is, well, why? Now, the narrative she's putting out there is that he doesn't have money, she pays all the bills, and that's what she's been doing all this time. She's putting that out there. She's not necessarily saying anything specific about how he treated her or lack thereof or whatever. She's not really saying that. And keep in mind, I'm saying all this to say that when Remy Ma went to jail, she didn't really have money like that. You know, the biggest hit she had at that time was Lean Back, a verse on Lean Back, right? That was a huge song. Of course, she made money. She wasn't completely broke, but she wasn't super rich. She caught a case and had to go to jail for 7 years. That breaks most artists, unless you are an extreme multimillionaire that you can weather the storm of the lifestyle that you had. So the point being is that when he was with her prior to the bid, right? I don't know how much money Remy Ma has now, but prior to that bid in 2008 or 2007, Remy Ma was not balling like that, and he was there for her.
Witness when she came home. Witness me go build the anticipation for her to come out of prison. Had a different artist do a drop every single day. Oh, the queen is coming, the return of the queen, right? All the fans witnessed this. Witnessed her come home. Witnessed us have the big wedding ceremony. Followed our entire journey. Never trust a celebrity who erased their Instagram. You ever notice I never erased nothing on my page? All you gotta do is scroll down. The same page that she utilized today to lie for an hour straight and tell all these fabricated stories, the same page I created. You know what I'm saying? But that's neither here nor there.
He talks about picking his daughter up from school. And again, like, the whole thing is messy because once you get on the internet, nobody can hurt you. Nobody can hurt you like the person that you have been with. You know what I'm saying? Like your wife or your husband, your significant other. Nobody can hurt you like that person. So they're both on here airing each other out. Now, again, I'm going to go through both videos. What I've seen so far, Pap's story seems more likely. Papoose's story seems far more likely because he talks about them going to therapy. He talks about them trying to work out the relationships. He talks about him knowing about the affair. And Remy Ma is not really admitted to the therapy. She's been saying that, you know, he knew about the affair a couple years ago and they both decided that you do you, I'll do me, and we'll just try to live in the same house and raise this kid.
Like I said earlier, for those who just came on the live, everybody who know me, and I'm talking about speaking with my actions, I don't do this. I don't clout chase. I never come on social media talking about anything. Even when I got stabbed in my back. Even when I got stabbed in my back by the person that I moved mountains for, fought battles, did everything, was super loyal to. I still didn't slander you. I still didn't say nothing. I just kept it moving. But you had the audacity to mention my children. So since you want to mention my children, and that I can't let ride. A lot of people like, yo, Pat, that's not you. Don't entertain it. You know what I'm saying? People see through it. She's bitter. She's miserable. Yeah, that's a fact. But you mentioned my children, and that I'm not letting ride. So with that being said, you abandoned my child for months. I'm sorry, for days at a time. Knowing she had to go to school the next day, knowing I had to go to work the next day, since you want to get up on here and say, oh, you don't have a job. Because, you know, when I got the executive position at TuneCore initially, knowing I had to go to work the next day, knowing my daughter had to go to school, you stayed out with the lane. You stayed out with the lane. You want to talk, and you stayed out with the lame while your daughter was crying for you. Tears. Also, she wanted to talk about all of this money talk and all of this and what I don't got and what I got. Since I met her, I have written 90% of the rhymes that came out of her mouth.
And again, we talked about that. Now, it's conceivable. Papoose has a nice pen. He's lyrical, man. I mean, Remy's lyrical too. Remy was lyrical too. So I'm not going to act like, I don't think he wrote everything. I think he helped her write some rhymes. It's totally believable that he helped her write some rhymes, right? That's her husband. He's a good rapper too. They both know how to rap. So it's possible that he helped her with some rhymes. I don't think he wrote everything, but he definitely wrote something. But again, the reason why he's saying this is to say, yo, I contributed to this woman's life. And here's the thing that people got to understand. And this is just my opinion. As a man, you always vulnerable where you are, you know, your woman earns way more money than you. And especially if you're entertainers, we're not talking about everyday people, but we're talking about celebrities, right? Your woman earns way more money than you and you earn less. And keep in mind, like I said, everybody knows, it's all documented if you follow their story. He held her down all the way through the bid when she got out of jail. Her biggest hit after that was All the Way Up with Joe, with Fat Joe. And, you know, Pap was all, you know, bigging up his wife, put a lot of his music to the side to focus on her. She was the bigger commercial artist. It makes perfect sense. So we get behind Remy Ma. She's the bigger commercial artist. This is where we're going to make the most of our money as a family. The writing skills, I'm going to help her to promote, to book shows, a lot of things that he did to big her up. But the problem is this, right? And I hate to say it, but I got to keep it honest. Now, this isn't all women, but a lot of times as a man, when you make money, what you have is ours. Now, again, this is some women, but with women, what she has is hers. Everybody knows this. This is a known fact, a general known fact. What you have as a man is ours. What the woman has is hers. And again, this happens typically when things go wrong, right? When things are okay, this rule doesn't apply. But when things go wrong, her money is hers. And even if he wrote the rhymes, if the royalty checks are coming in her name under her publishing, it's her money. You know what I'm saying? That's how she's going to see it. So I'm not surprised that this is the angle that Remy Ma's taking on now about the fact that I'm the one who spends all the money or earns all the money, and the money that's spent is my money. You know what I'm saying? And you don't really make any money. This is the angle that she's coming on with now as far as his value as a husband. She's not saying he beat on her. She's not claiming that he cheated on her. The only thing that she's saying thus far is that, and it's something that he admitted, that he had a gambling problem. He had some gambling issues. But it doesn't appear that he gambled away all their money or gambled in a way that destroyed their life. And I guess this gambling issue happened in the last couple of years.
Very bipolar, very delusional. This is a person who will sit in front of you. She will post that live and she'll say later, I didn't do that. I wasn't on live. You'll be sitting there like, huh? She will say something to you and 10 minutes later say, I never said that. Very bipolar. And I don't want to talk bad about her, man. That's something that I never wanted to do. That's why when this took place, when she first got caught cheating with the lame, I brought it to her attention. I said, first of all, I couldn't even believe that she was stooped that low because he's such a cornball. Y'all see it, y'all say it yourself. I'm like, yo, it's no way it's this nigga. Because I'm trying to figure it out. Like, damn, who is this nigga? Because, you know, we were living a normal, peaceful life, raising our child like we planned to, and she started to move real strange. So in the process of her moving strange, it became stranger and stranger, worse and worse. So I said, damn, I gotta see what's going on. What the hell is going on? I started to do my research. As I did my research, I found out she was cheating with the lame. So once I find out, I brings it to her attention. I said, Mind you, I didn't knock him out because he slept with my wife. Like I told y'all before, the reason I knocked him out was because he shook my hand and then slept with my wife.
Anyway, they had an event. The Easy to Block captain is a battle rapper. Remy Ma started a rap battle league, and this is one of the rappers that is in that league. And she ended up, having an affair with him. Remy Ma's in her 40s. This guy's a little younger. I believe this guy is in his late 20s, I want to say, or early 30s. So he's a little younger than her. But anyway, she ended up getting with him, and Pap found out about it and decided, at some point he was going to confront the dude. He was quiet about it for a while, but eventually he went to one of the events and allegedly knocked the guy out, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Now, here's the thing. For me personally, I'm not saying what I wouldn't do, because you never know when you in the heat of your emotion, but I'm not going to really do that. You know what I'm saying? Because for me, it ain't the guy. The guy don't really have anything to do with it. But Easy to Block captain, in Pap's defense, was going around and was running his mouth about sleeping with Remy Ma and all this. But my whole take on it is that at the end of the day, if you're with a woman, whether she's your girlfriend, wife, whatever, if she's with somebody else, I'm not really going to confront the dude, because the dude is not, unless it's your friend, I can see that, somebody but this guy's not your friend. At the end of the day, if he's laying up with your wife is deciding to be with him, and Remy Ma decided to be with him. The question is, the way she did it, why didn't she just get the divorce? If she wanted to leave the relationship, it would have been better to do the divorce, what they're doing right now. Have the divorce, leave the relationship. The problem is, a lot of people try to start the new relationship while they married. Papoose, he's still married technically, and he met Clarissa Shields and got in a relationship with her. But the point is that this is what makes it messy, when you try to do all this while you still married. And this is why all of this is so damn messy right now.
So I bring it to her attention that that I found out that she's sleeping with the lame. She tells me, him? Why him? Why him out of all people? Not Goods? Not Hitman? My word is my bond is my life. I should give my life before my word shall fail. This was her exact words. Him? Why would I deal with him? I said, Rem, I know you're dealing with the lame. I know it. First and foremost, how it first fell on my radar that she was cheating with the nigga, he was running his mouth, and it came back to me. They said, yo, Pat, this nigga out here telling niggas he fucking your wife. I said, word. So I did a little bit more research, connect a couple more dots, I finds out. She tells me this. Okay, I finds out. Mind you, it's not the first time she cheated. You know what I mean? I continued the marriage because I live by my wedding vow. I try to live by my wedding vows. Richer for poor, sicker for health, sickness and health, you know what I'm saying? Better for worse, and death do us part. So you try to work through things. Anybody out there who's married, y'all understand. So I found out she cheating with the lame. I bring it to her attention. Of course, we have an altercation, like basically argument back and forth or whatever transpired, right? Okay. She decides, and I decide that we're going to go to therapy. But she brings it to my attention, to be honest. She said, I think we should do therapy. I said, okay. Even though I'm private and I don't like to speak to people about my personal business, that was a very, very difficult thing for me to do. But I said, you know what? Let's do the therapy. We go to the therapist. The therapist's first question is, do you guys want a divorce or do y'all want to work it out?
That's
Me
what
and her
they
both
asked.
said we want to work it out. So when she comes on live and say, we haven't slept in the bed since 2022, and to make it seem like and fabricate a story like we had some agreement, you such a liar. There was no agreement. When I found
Now that I believe, I totally believe that, because again, Remy, from what I've seen, she's not admitting to them going to therapy. And I don't think Papoose is making up the story about them going to therapy. I think that he tried to stay with her because they have a young child together. And I know as a man, if you really about that life as far as being a father, that's going to be the biggest thing. Even if you want to leave the woman, that's going to be the biggest thing that's going to hold you, because you know what, you like, I really want to make sure that not only that I'm under the same rules as my daughter, but when you have the idea of raising your children with the man and the woman, if you're really about that, that would make you stay. And it make women stay too. Don't get me wrong. It goes both ways. But speaking as a man, I understand what he's saying. So I don't believe that, they never went to therapy, because Remy Ma's not saying that. Remy Ma's kind of saying like, yo, he found out about the affair and we had an agreement that you do you, I'ma do me, and we just gonna live together. That sounds crazy to me, but.
And then you wanted to go to therapy. So check it out now. Check it out. So when we go to therapy, the therapist says, do y'all want to get a divorce or do y'all want to work it out? Me and her both said we want to work it out. I'm going to be honest. Because honestly, I didn't want to not live under the same roof as my 5-year-old. I love all my kids the same, but when you have children, and everyone knows that about me. Everybody who know me, y'all know my character. Y'all know her character. Very rude, very disrespectful, not just to me, to everyone. But that speaks volumes. I didn't want to we planned to raise her with both parents. That was the plan. So I did not want to not live under the same roof with my little girl. I was there from the moment she came out of the womb, and I intended, and I always told her, I want to be there to the moment we take her to her prom. Till she graduates high school, college, get her degrees. I want to be there to take my daughter to her prom. And I told her that. So I never wanted to leave from under the roof of my baby. That's why I stayed around for this nonsense. And I don't want to go away from the point. Okay, so we did the therapy. The therapist gave us that option. We both said we want to work it out. She said, this is the plan. I'm going to give y'all a plan to work it out. She said, Pat, because like I told y'all previously, once I seen that she was cheating, like she was moving real strange, I'm talking about leaving for hours at a time. Every time I questioned it, it was a lie, just strange behavior. So once I noticed that she was moving strange, I started to do my research. So the therapist said, because she told the therapist, mind you, she got all these lies to y'all about me. The only thing she told the therapist was, oh, he doesn't trust me. He's going to keep looking behind me and trying to, find out what I'm doing.
Why don't people get divorced first and then take some time and then find someone new? The reason why people don't do that most of the time, in my opinion, is because people haven't fully let go of who they with, right? That's one thing. There's a security blanket people hold on to, and they want to put their toe out there and see, well, what's going on out in the streets while I'm still with this other person. You know what I'm saying? Because if at the end of the day, if you really don't want to be with Remy Ma, really didn't want to be with Papoose. And like I said, we all know this because she had the affair first, apparently. And apparently this guy was not the first affair. So the thing is that, why not file for divorce first? Probably because she didn't want to leave the relationship all the way. You know what I'm saying? So I believe Pap. I just think Pap is more believable. I don't know Remy Ma personally, but she's known from people I know who know her, and even just knowing her just as a fan. She has a hair trigger temper. She's got that Bronx attitude, you know what I'm saying? And that's just who she is, right? But if you ask me, I think honestly, I think she got bored. I think the way that she is and the way Pap is different. And again, I think Pap is somebody who don't really drink, don't really smoke, don't really do a lot of things. And again, is kind of a low profile kind of guy. And not that Remy Ma is out there hanging out all the time, but I just think they're very different in that way. And I think that the marriage maybe she was bored, maybe she just wanted more attention, you know what I'm saying? And that happens. That's just life. It is what it is. But again, like I said, a lot of times when a woman cheats, it's like, well, it's always like, well, what was the guy doing? And they try to make it seem like, well, the guy did something, and maybe the guy did nothing. Maybe Pap did nothing. Maybe it's the fact that she just wanted to get out here and do something new. You guys are putting it out there, and it's for the internet court to decide who's lying and who's telling the truth. The question is she saying Papoose was a bum? Papoose didn't do anything. He's laying on the couch with his feet kicked up and not doing anything. I don't think so. I don't think so, because like he said, and she has not refuted the fact that, well, she is refuting the fact saying he didn't write anything. Now, I don't think anybody believes that. He wrote something. There's no doubt he helped on the rhymes. I definitely believe that. But helping to book shows, helping to, support her career in whatever way he can, cool. But the idea that, this was a money thing, I don't really believe it. I think that's an excuse. And maybe she just didn't respect him over time. And again, this isn't the first time we've seen that. We see that a lot with female celebrities, where a lot of times if they earn more money, Vivica Fox said the same thing. She was with a guy who was a, I think, music producer back in the 90s, her first marriage. And she just felt like she made more money and just, eventually didn't respect him, didn't want to be with him because she felt like he wasn't doing enough. And this happens a lot with women. But in time, you end up seeing that, okay, cool. This guy later on end up making a lot more money as a producer and is probably doing well now. But I don't think it's a money thing with these two. But I think that if a woman is making more than you, significantly more than you, in a relationship like this, when things go wrong, she's gonna go to that. And if money was an issue, I don't think they'd be married that long. I just don't believe it. I don't buy it. If money was really an issue, why would they be together so long? And again, she really didn't have big money like that prior to jail. She really didn't. So after she got out of jail, keep in mind, she had more hits, more shows, Battle Rap League. They did Love and Hip Hop, I believe, for a while, and they had the reality show and stuff like that. So
not only did this man not write for me, that's where a lot of his animosity comes from. Every time we would do interviews and people would be like, oh my God, do y'all rap battle? Who's better? He'd be like, she's better, she's better. In his heart, though, it pains him because he really wants this. He wants this. We're talking about somebody who literally sat and made an album each month for a year straight that nobody purchased.
This is where it's already losing me, because I'm like, yo, nah, Papoose has never been a real big commercial guy. He's never chased a light like that. He never has. Papoose has been around since 2006. He's never been that rapper that's searching for the big light. So I highly doubt he was jealous of your celebrity. I think he's the exact kind of guy, a guy who visits you every day at the pen while you're in jail for 7 years. A guy who's visiting you every day and every month and bringing you food and sitting and waiting for you to get out of jail is not jealous of your celebrity. Nah. I don't think people are buying that one. Anything's possible, but is it probable based on Papoose's actions? I don't think so.
Here I am, literally making a lot of money on old work. And then sometimes I'll pop out, put a little verse on Ghetto and Ratchet with Kanye, pop out with a verse on a Mary J record, or I'll do something with my Fat Joe. And every time I do it, like, yo, Remy and Papoose, where's the album?
Nah, the money stunt thing. The money stunt thing is not gonna work. I don't think people are buying that. The money stunting thing on your husband ain't gonna work at this point.
And he envies that I had that demand and or that I have the leisure to not really do music because financially I'll still be okay. Right? I was always being threatened, or should I use the word blackmail, since that's the word we like to use. The only person that has ever tried to blackmail me was Papoose. All of these things he's saying now, oh, I wrote her music, oh, she's abusing her daughter. This man will wait till my daughter did something out of pocket, because he doesn't chastise any of them, really. Wait till my daughter does something out of pocket, and when I go to chastise her, he would secretly record me. The same way he played a clip of a secret recording the other day, yesterday or whenever. He would secretly record me and then tell me like, yo, I'll play this and tell him that you abuse our daughter. Swear to God. Swear to God. This is the type of manipulator that we're dealing with. He loves using the word narcissist, strangely. Look up the tactics of a narcissist. When they can't control you anymore, they try to assassinate your character.
Yeah, but what a narcissist does is they think everything is about them, right? So you just described Papoose as somebody who is jealous of you, jealous of your career, and he's never shown anything about being jealous about your career. I just have never seen anything like that. You know what I'm saying? So again, in the court of public opinion internet, I just haven't seen it. I don't see Papoose sitting back, gritting his teeth or grinding his teeth and mad because you're getting all the shine. I haven't seen it. I mean, Remy Ma is an incredible rapper. You know what I'm saying? I'm a fan of her. And like I said, I know people who know her too. So I'm a fan of her. But I think why this is going to go wrong for her is that in the court of public opinion, and maybe she doesn't care, right? But again, they're putting it out here for people to talk about it. I think that Papoose was never jealous of her. Papoose was supportive of her. She wanted some new meat. That's what it come down to. She wanted to leave the relationship and didn't want to be faithful anymore. And I think that sometimes it's hard for women, and Remy Ma is she's a straight shooter, but I think it's hard for women to just say that when they're in a marriage, because it's going to make them look like, man, it's got to be like, yo, he did this to me, he did that, he pushed me into the arms of this other guy. And that's what it sounds like she's creating here.
You understand? My daughter's well taken care of, not because of him. That man didn't even contribute $1 to her being here. IVF cost me over $100,000. So I wanted to focus on my career, right? So that's that. To say that you penned anything, you're corny. Like, no, the fact that nobody even believes you. I don't know why academics is over there like, yo, this was it. Sir, please, don't use your platform to promote positivity. Don't push propaganda and lies. So that was that. It really wasn't even that serious, but I felt like I have to say that. The part that really the part that scuffed my Timbs is that this man really tried to come on here and say that that he caught me with a female, which is one of my friends, which I've been holding her back for years because she hasn't liked this man for years. Like, yo, you can't say nothing, you can't say anything. You gotta respect it. Not only did you disrespect her, you said her name, everything. So whatever she says about you, it's out of my hands right now. But he caught me in a sexual act with a female with my daughter on the bed. I slipped out of the bed with him after he was trying to get something, denied him. I always deny him. I've denied him. I haven't had sex with him in years. But I slipped out of our bed and tried to go get in another bed with a girl, a female, which is my friend, one of my close friends for years and years and years.
So Pap talked about how he had tried to sleep with his wife, and there was a female friend that was over of hers, a female who was locked up with Remy Ma, and when the female friend got out, after Remy Ma got out of jail, that the female friend came over and hung out at the house or whatever. And anyway, he's saying he caught them in some type of compromising position together while the daughter was in the room or whatever. But anyway, I'm not even going to go through that. I don't think that is even important. Whether she's sleeping with the female friend or not doesn't even matter. What it comes down to is that you're denying your husband. The question is, here's the thing people are looking for. What is it that man did for you to want to leave the relationship? And there is no right or wrong answer. I think people are just looking for that, because at the end of the day, if you have the affair, either you just say, yo, you know, I take responsibility for the affair, or either you say, you know what, here's what was done to push me away, and that's why I left the relationship. And I don't think she's made the case yet. I think that, you know, again, she can do whatever she wants. Human beings can do whatever they want. She could just say, I did it because I felt like it, you know, but I think that that's more respectable. You know what I'm saying? It's like when we were looking at Jada and Will, same deal. People were looking like, well, what did Will do? You know what I'm saying? Will seems like a good guy. What did Will do? You know, and again, people look for that when it comes to women. They try to say, well, why would the woman do it? Because when it comes to men, people just say that men do that. We do it because it's just in our nature. And in some ways, men don't need we don't need a real reason to cheat. Sometimes for men will just do things because it's available or because they want variety. You know what I'm saying? And those are the things that men work on to be faithful in a relationship, to say, okay, variety or getting, you know, putting my foot out there in the streets is not worth it, because in exchange, I want to, you know, have a woman who I'm with, who I build a relationship with and be faithful to. Now, I think that for women are a lot more, I'd say they're a little more faithful in that sense. Their goal is to be more faithful, to be with one person. But again, I think for women, when they do step out, they need to justify it in their mind. You know what I'm saying? Even if there's no reason, they need to justify why they did it. So it may be like, okay, I went ahead and I found this other person attractive and I found this new guy. And then after the fact, I'm going to start zeroing in on all these things that I feel like were bad about my husband.
I'm mad because she's mad because I found out that she was with a woman. She's mad because I moved on. You want to know? Y'all want to know why he's mad? Y'all want to know why he didn't address anything that I said, but he went in and on to attack Easy, the block captain, that he literally is obsessed with? First of all, you posted an audio, right? That you're recording, you federal agent. Mr. Recording devices, cameras throughout every house and crib and car we ever had in life.
Now, wait a minute. Now, there's a video, or there's some audio Papoose played that is a conversation about Easy the Block Captain, the guy that Remy Ma is seeing now, or was seeing or cheating with. There was some audio of that guy talking to one of his friends, telling his friend how he was, you know, gonna blackmail Remy Ma, and you know, he has videos and audio of them either doing things together, whatever it is, and he's gonna put it out there when he gets ready to, because he wasn't sure if Remy Ma really rocked with him like that.
You know what I'm saying? So I want to go with that, but you're right though. That anything happen? Well, that shit gonna be 3 months, nigga. I don't know for how long it is. I got pictures, the texts, the videos of that shit gonna blow whenever I say it's gonna go. I'm talking about where I'm saying that news of cheating and all of that shit go anytime. It don't matter if it's a week or whatever. Like, the only reason why it's spark is because you do all these shit.
All right, so y'all heard that. And again, we're gonna play her basically saying she's been blackmailed. That's what it sounds like to me. What y'all think?
She would have been over. He would have been over. You put me in a predicament, so I had to still kind of be cool with the nigga to make sure he don't go all the way back, and I'm not getting dragged on both sides. My team Papoose and team fuck this nigga.
And again, like I said, it goes back to the point that if you in a relationship and you're married and you start a new relationship, the side person may actually start to like you or love you, but they're not really sure if you really rocking with them, if you really want to be with them, if you may be planning to go back to your significant other, right? So he said that in the audio, that he's not sure if Remy Ma really rocks with him or whatever the case is, and he's gonna release this information whenever he feel like it. So that's not something Papoose recorded. That was something that was sent to him. How would Papoose record a conversation with Easy the Block Captain, the guy that you're cheating with? How does he record audio of this your side dude and decide, and his friend. How in the world is Papoose going to have access to record audio of a conversation between that guy and his friend? It don't make sense. Somebody likely sent the audio to Papoose and said, look, this is what this guy is saying about your wife, about blackmailing or putting stuff out there. So again, the internet streets aren't believing it because the story doesn't make sense, Remy. That's what it really come down to. It doesn't make sense. And you still haven't really said, well, what did the guy do to you? I mean, the things that you could say that your husband did. He's beating on you. He's cheating. She never says that he cheated. She never claims that he cheated. So we could understand tit for tat. We could understand like, hey, he been cheating on me. He's been seeing other women for years or whatever the case is, and I got tired of it and I got to go do my thing. If she was saying that and that was substantiated, then I don't think people would be looking at you funny right now. But people are looking at Remy funny because you basically stepped out on this guy first and you're trying to justify it now. And I don't think that's gonna work.
When you're recording and the other person doesn't know they're recording, you're gonna act accordingly because you know you're being recorded. You wanted me to lie and say that nothing never happened at all, that I wasn't messing with him, I wasn't talking to him, nothing. And I said, I'm not doing that. We all, me, you, and Easy agreed that we wasn't going to say nothing about the incident that happened at my event. Not that you knocked anybody out, because that was always a lie. And you agreed to it because at the time you didn't have your executive position job as the head of hip hop that no one has heard about in a month of Sundays. And you wasn't sure if it was secure, so we couldn't have something coming out where you were seeming like the aggressor or committing a crime or anything like that. Me, being who I am, I went and I talked to Easy and I'm like, listen, just chill. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's in all of our best interest because he is who he is in his field. I am who I am. And Papoose is who he is. At the time, he was still Papoose. He wasn't Papoose yet. Well, he was, but I just didn't know. So, the moment that he knew his job at TuneCore was solidified via that bitch you was over there, play with me. I dare you.
See, she's tight. She's tight that he found a new... He's tight that he really is with this Clarissa Shields. She's tight about that. And she's not hiding it well because you can really see when she talks about... Now, keep in mind, she's been seeing her guy, the side guy, for 2 years now. She's been seeing him for 2 years. Has admitted that she is. Has admitted that he knew about it, right? And he just met this girl last year. They haven't even been together as long, and as soon as she mentions it, she seems pretty mad, and it's okay. It's nothing wrong with being mad, but again, you stepped out first, and the question is, yo, if you stepped out first and maybe you felt like, yo, this guy, because here, keep in mind, here's the same guy who was coming to the jail every day. I think that she felt like she was gonna step out and Pap would just still be there forever, you know what I'm saying, and maybe forgive her eventually or be there, because I don't think that in the long term it's going to work out with the Easy to Block Captain guy. Maybe it will, I don't know, but I don't think it's going to work out long term. I think that is probably going to be a situation that fizzles out, and Remy Ma is going to end up, you know, alone or back in the streets, you know, single or whatever it is. So
play with me. That's why he was mad that I never posted it, because he doesn't get a check from TuneCore. He was getting a percentage of the subscriptions, and he wanted me to post to my 11 million followers to subscribe to TuneCore. And I told him, tell the bitch that's your TuneCore to post it on her page. I didn't see anything wrong with that. What do
you see what I'm saying? So she's like, no, you tell Clarissa Shields to post on her page. I'm not supporting you, but you still stepped out first. But you know, like I said, man, this is wild.
Talking about the second that he knew his job was solidified, he then started going on. So I knocked somebody out because he was mad. He wanted to assassinate Easy's character the same way he's trying to assassinate mine's. Okay, I literally peeled off your ass, because I can't even go to that venue no more because the way was acting when they got about when you ran off into the night with a mask on and nobody knew where you went to. It was like, we doing this. You know what I said? Sorry, guys. That's my husband still, and that's my daughter's father. I can't do nothing. Yes, he was absolutely wrong. He was dead wrong. He was out of pocket. Yeah, if y'all do something behind my back that I don't know about, whatever, but not on my watch, I'm not doing it. And that's how I behave, and that's how I handle him. Through all the tormenting and all the secrets and all everything, nobody still couldn't handle him crazy.
But think about it though. Now, again, I don't condone going to beat up the side dude. That's not really the way to go. But keep in mind, here you are messing with a guy who you work with. Somebody, you start this rap league and he's one of the battle rappers in the battle rap league. You messing with him, you starting a whole little side relationship with this guy, right? And you know that these two guys shook hands, because Papoose says that I shook the guy's hand before, maybe before he knew that, you know, the guy was sleeping with you. But here you are introducing a guy to shake your husband's hand while this guy's sleeping with you. That type of stuff creates a deadly situation, and that's the thing. Remy Ma should know better than that, because we're grown out here, and it's different. So for men, it's dangerous. It's one thing if you said, look, man, I don't want to be in this relationship anymore. I think we should get divorced. And you go ahead and get divorced and you meet a new guy. And then Papoose show up wilding out and all this stuff. Then it's like, yo, he's the ex-husband. He already knows I don't want to be with him. And he's all the way out of pocket. But it makes it dangerous when you're saying, you know what, I'm in this new relationship, and I have the guy who shook my husband's hand, and I'm having this affair. It's not even like it's a secret affair with the guy that your husband has no idea about. This is somebody who your husband has met. So that creates a lot of dangerous situations. People will die over that type of stuff. So it's just a scenario that, yeah, you can blame Papoose for his responsibility as far as going up there and hitting the guy, but you're creating that environment as a wife, right? You should know that you don't want to put your husband, the father of your child, in a dangerous situation. And that's a dangerous situation. And honestly, it would have been the same thing, because Remy Ma she shot her friend. That's how she ended up going to jail. So Papoose would have been out of line to like been working with some girl that Remy Ma shook hands with, and then she find out that they've been sleeping together the whole time. Remy Ma may have went up and fought the woman. She's that type of woman. She's that type of girl where she would go up and fight the side girl, maybe shoot the side girl. Who knows? But again, you don't want to put your partner, somebody you're with, married to, in a dangerous situation. If you want to get divorced and you feel like it's over, cool. And if you're going to have an affair, to be having your partner meet that person and then you're sleeping with that person, that's dangerous.
Let's be clear. People didn't respect me on the strength of him. A lot of the shit that he got was on the strength of me. And that's how I carried him. So when people was like, when he goes on there and says, oh, he lied after I knocked him out, he lied. Like, well, we all lied. Because we were all trying to make sure that we were all good because you did some dumb shit. But y'all know how it is. They could do mad shit to you all day, every day, year after year, decade after decade. But the second you do something to them, the second you say, I'm done, I'm finished, all hell breaks loose.
But the question is, what did he do to you? Everybody wants to know, what did Papoose do to you, right? What did he do? Of course, we know any marriage is not going to be perfect. You weren't perfect. He wasn't perfect. But what in particular did he do to you? That's the question. Because this guy, Papoose, hasn't said nothing for 2 years. There's been rumors of Remy's being with this guy, Easy the Block Captain, for like, at least on my radar, at least a year or so, right? I've been hearing about it since at least 2023. And for a while, I was like, maybe it's not even true. But I was seeing pictures of them together, and it was all over the place on a lot of reputable sites. So I'm like, there has to be something to this. But Pap didn't say nothing all this time. This guy been quiet. I didn't know he had a new woman as far as Clarissa Shields until somewhat recently. So I think that He was quiet, and I think his story is plausible. His story is believable. I think he was probably trying to stay with you, wanted to stay with you because he loved you. I never seen the guy, none of us ever seen, especially in the hip hop community, period. I never seen the guy be loyal and hold down a woman. He was a nice guy, in my opinion. And I think they say nice guys finish last. Here's the thing. I wouldn't say nice guys just finish last. Here's the thing. I think that, and again, you can fry me in the comments if you want, but the relationship dynamic, if you have a dynamic where the man is always, you know, fawning or chasing over the woman, and the woman isn't doing the same thing back, that relationship's gonna die. I guarantee you. And I'm not saying that's what Pap was doing, but he was overly supportive of her. And I never seen her do that to him, right? So even when things were good between them, I didn't see her pumping up his music or trying to push forward his music. I think that she just felt like, I'm the bigger artist, it's about me. You know what I'm saying? So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Crucial Convo.